I got handed a holy smackdown recently and started questioning everything. Let's talk about it. For those of you that don't know, my name is Peter and I like making things. In this video, I'm going to talk about how my enjoyment of making things went just a little bit too far. Basically, I got sick twice, and it happened with only a few days in between each time. I was sick about a month ago and I got over it in a few days, but because I didn't change anything, I immediately got sick again. And this time it was a whole lot worse. Lost my voice, took almost a full week off from work, even though I can work from home. Still kind of dealing with some symptoms a few weeks later. It was not good. It was my second day of laying there though, wishing that I could fall asleep at night instead of during the day, that I encountered a TikTok video. Go figure, right? It was about the Sabbath. And see, I thought I knew about the Sabbath. No, I didn't think I understood in Jewish historical cultural way where I understand the significance of Shabbat and all of that, but the more modern practice of the Christian Sabbath, where you take some time to release yourself from your everyday life, reconnect with God and your purpose of resting in Him, and that sounds pretty like there's more fireworks. Fireworks are over. And all that sounds like a pretty fancy way of saying doing nothing, taking a break. Now don't come for me for how I define it. This is still something I'm working on. So just maybe in the comments you can tell me how you perceive the Sabbath to be, because this is something I'm still working on and getting in the Word about, because I was very wrong.
Will Sabbath through choice or by force? What do I mean? If you don't choose to enter the rhythms ordained by God in creation, if you continually violate this law of nature, eventually sickness, disease, or burnout will force your body to take the rest that God designed it to enjoy.
You see how he talks about how you will either Sabbath on purpose or by accident? I was definitely doing it by accident. I didn't intend to get sick, but I never allowed myself to recuperate from the first time I got sick properly, which is why I got so much more sick the next time around. Now, I'm basically better after a few weeks of taking some time to take care of my health, to get back in the gym, to get enough sleep. We're not going to talk about how late it is while I'm recording this. And to be honest, I still haven't completely figured out exactly how I'm going to Sabbath. Couple reasons. One, I need to spend more time in the Word, digging into it. I'm not just going to take one person's perspective on it. I'm going to gather several and whatnot and make sure that my understanding is consistent with what's in the Word. But also, my perception of the Sabbath to begin with was always very, you don't do anything, you rest this day. Now, the problem with that is, unless I set out on my calendar to intentionally do something, I feel like I'm wasting time. And when I hear just do nothing, it sounds like wasting time. It doesn't sound like resting. Resting feels intentional. I was just hearing, don't do anything. So for me, what I'm going to be doing is intentionally scheduling out my Sabbath time, because if I know on my calendar that's what I'm doing, I'm more likely to do it. And it sounds like I'm tricking myself here, because it's like, no, you're doing what's on the to-do list. Correct. But what's on the to-do list is to rest in Him. If I don't put it on a to-do list, I will fill that with something else. Because see, a lot of my, I'll Sabbath on Sunday or whatever, in the past, it has very much turned into running errands all day long, where I work really hard during the week, I do stuff in the evenings, and then all of a sudden Sunday comes, I gotta do laundry, I gotta buy groceries, I gotta get gas in my car, I gotta do all sorts of stuff like that. It all happens on Sunday because, well, I'm not doing anything, I'll just go ahead and do this. So I need to intentionally schedule that time to make sure that I actually Sabbath. And that's just from a physical standpoint. That has nothing to do with the mental, emotional, and spiritual health that I really need to be pursuing as well. I'm a rather practical person, so I'm looking at Sabbath from a practical standpoint at this point, but I also know in the back of my head that my spiritual health will grow, my mental health will get better, and my emotional health will be a lot more stable, because it has not been as stable as I would like lately, to be completely honest. So that's why it's been a couple of weeks. I've been trying to be more effective with my time, which is a theme on this channel, is being effective with your time, whether I've officially made it one or not. I'm attempting to be more effective with my time, but not necessarily to grow this channel yet. That's coming right now as you're watching this, because I have a different video setup than I usually try and do. But I also want to make sure that I am taking care of the other parts of my life as well. I don't want to burn myself out and then suddenly be on my knees before God and have him go, you weren't supposed to be doing that way anyway. You were supposed to be doing it this way. And if you'd listened to me, if you'd taken time to check in with me and grow with me, we could have done it the way I intended to, instead of the way you did it, which led you to this point. Because I don't want to get to the end of my life and meet the person I could have been if not for the decisions I made. And that sounds really heavy, and it kind of is, but at the same time, I know that every day I can work a little bit more towards becoming the person that God wants me to be. And because I'm human, he designed me to need a Sabbath, which is why I'm going to take a Sabbath. Editing these videos just became very interesting because of the timeline that I've placed on myself, because if I don't edit these on Sunday because I'm taking a Sabbath, they can't go up on Monday as easily. But who are we kidding? They haven't been going up on Mondays anyway. So here's my encouragement to you. Don't just Sabbath by doing nothing. Sabbath by intentionally resting. Is there something that you can be doing to intentionally rest in him? And if you don't have any sort of faith, I don't want you to hear what I'm saying and have it completely turn you off to the way I'm going about things. We all know that you need to take breaks in order to be effective. That's why in med school, they realized that, I don't know the word for interns. What's the step before residence? There's a certain number of hours that student doctors are allowed to work in a row before they are legally required to not show up to work. That holds true for anything though. You just don't typically have other people's lives in your hands necessarily. This video's gotten a little bit off topic. Point is, I need to take a Sabbath. You probably need to take a Sabbath too, if you're not already. And if you don't like the term Sabbath because it has spiritual connotations, you need time to recharge your batteries. I ran for years on 5 to 6 hours of sleep every day for weeks on end. I can't do that anymore. My body will not let me do that. My mental health suffers horribly when I do that. I just didn't realize it at the time. Your physical body needs it too. Did you know that the only time your muscles are actually being put back together is when you're sleeping? You have to be asleep in order for that process to occur. So if you're working out really hard during the day, but you're not getting enough sleep at night, you're probably not seeing the muscle growth that you expect because you're not spending enough time asleep for that muscle growth to happen. I read that in a book called Sleep Smarter that I'm gonna link below because it's somewhat related to this. Hopefully the audio on this is better than the first time I recorded it. Have a good night.